Hi, my name is Grace. I am the Foothills RETAC Injury Prevention Committee co-chair. We are here today to show you some best practice guidelines for off-road vehicle safety because we really want to try and keep you safe while you're out on the trail to prevent injuries and help you hopefully have a better time, because one thing that we do know for sure is that it is no fun to be injured on the side of the trail waiting for rescue. The goal of this video is to increase knowledge of how to ride safely, maintain a safe riding environment, and help you understand where you can learn more information.
One thing I want to talk about is the remoteness of some of our ATV, OHV play areas. We cover about 900 square miles out of one EMS station, so it could take us over an hour to get to you. It's important to be prepared, to have all the layers you might need, fire starting materials, ways to be able to reach help. Cell service is also very limited up here.
There's no fee when you need our help and services. If you think you're in trouble or need assistance or have a problem, calling 911 will get us moving in your direction. Most of the time, situations resolve themselves when they're reported early.
It's really important to ensure your own safety first. So if the vehicle is unstable or possibly going to roll, don't put yourself into danger. Make sure you remain in a safe place before helping the individuals who have been hurt.
Grant County is such a rural environment, and transportation to and from the hospital will take a long time, as well as transport down to a higher level of care. Our resources are limited, and we do everything that we can to stabilize patients before they leave. But just understand when you are out here that you are not close to a large hospital that has all the resources.
Past decade, we've seen a ton of UTV accidents and injuries as the usage has increased regionally, and a lot of them are preventable. And we're out here today talking about some of the things you can do to be more conscientious about that and to prevent it.
So many times where we come upon a crash and we say to ourselves, if they would have only worn a helmet, this would have turned out a lot different. They would have walked away from this, but because they weren't wearing a helmet, the injuries were a lot worse.
We see a lot of injuries with ATVs, snow vehicles come in, and significant amount of injury with blunt chest trauma. The handlebars impact the chest and can cause not only just rib fractures, but a lot of internal organ injuries.
A lot of calls that are vehicle versus tree, where people just don't understand the limitations, going a little too fast. On some of the more popular open trails, we'll have some head-on collisions.
These injuries are very common in the area that we live. I would say at least once a day during the summertime in our busy months. Same can be said for the winter. It's a big snowmobiling area, and again, same types of injuries are common.
One of the things that is worth mentioning, one of the most common injuries in UTV accidents in our area tends to be relative to a rollover without strictly adhering to insistence that you hold on. And it is critically important that you hold on regardless of what's going on. Do not, under any circumstances, put your arms out.
A lot of times these crashes involve people who are not aware of their situation around them and are taking risks such as excessive speed. Off-highway vehicles can be a lot of fun, and it's easy to get the urge to drive fast, but you have to remember that there are others out there as well, so you have to be conscious of who's around you. Also of your scenery and big bumps that are coming up. I don't know how many times people have been hurt because they didn't know a bump was coming up and they hit it at high speed and they ended up flying off the vehicle. Or if they had a passenger on the vehicle, that passenger got injured because they weren't aware of what was coming up ahead.
My name's Eric Ross. I'm a volunteer with Colorado 4x4 Rescue and Recovery. I teach off-road recovery and driving skills and backcountry preparedness. I have 3 rules that I like people to follow. The first one is to don't go alone. The second one is to go prepared. The last thing is to make sure that you have a shared plan so that somebody back at home that you trust knows where you're going, who you're going with, what you're driving, when you should be checking in, when they should be worried about you either not checking in or not being home. And with all that information, who they need to call, so if you need help, they can reach out to the sheriff's department or reach out to search and rescue or reach out to some of your friends. Maybe it's just your club that needs to be involved, but they know where to go and look for you so that you can get help as quickly as possible.
Now we're going to go over driving guidelines for off-road vehicles, whether you are riding an ATV, side-by-side, dirt bike, or snowmobile. Make sure to turn off loud music, minimize distractions, and secure pets if you have them with a safety harness to keep them safe while they're riding as well. Maintain safe speed. Most off-road vehicle trails have a speed limit of 25 miles per hour. Follow all traffic signs and laws. Give space between vehicles for maneuvering, maintaining momentum, or stopping and reversing. Use proper hand signals when passing other trail users. When riding as a group, make sure that the group stays together. And that can be done by making sure that you're selecting terrain that's appropriate for the newest rider. Ride within your limits. Understand that your limits can change from day to day depending on how you are feeling, how much sleep you got, or any distractions that you might be encountering while out on the trail.
Another thing that's very important is seat belts. These have harnesses in them. The harnesses on modern equipment are wired such that if they're not plugged in, the vehicle won't perform. However, people tend to plug them in behind them and go without. These vehicles are high performance vehicles. You can get jostled around, and the harness is important to hold you in place to maintain control of the vehicle.
As you're going on a trail, you're coming around a blind curve, stay to the outside of that trail because there could be people coming in from the inside of the trail, and if you both take the inside of the trail, well, we all know what will happen.
As two vehicles approach a crest, without proper visibility, they tend to have an impact event at the ground without, it's in the same regard as driving around a blind corner. But one of the things that you can do to prevent that is the installation of some sort of a flag. The flag gives a better line of vision to help prevent that, as well as around tall sagebrush and areas, things of that nature.
Stay on the trail and avoid sensitive areas like wetlands and tundra to make sure that the environment stays intact for the next user. That includes packing out trash, not playing loud music, cleaning up fluid spills, and fully dousing fires should you be creating one.
What I want to focus on right now is the things that you should think about to go prepare. Top of the list is first aid kit.
It's important to carry a first aid kit with you because it can take over an hour for the responders and medically trained people to get to you in some of these remote areas where these crashes occur. In your first aid kit, it's important to have a stop the bleed kit. You can buy one that's commercially available with all the supplies in it.
One thing people tend to forget in their first aid kit or in their overnight kind of rescue bag is medications that you need every day. People often have to take medication every 24 hours and they don't bring it with them and they get stuck, and that can become an issue as well. So make sure you include that in whatever first aid kit you have. The next thing that you should have with you is some sort of either 24 or 72 hour bag or sustainment bag, something that has the 10 essentials in it. So extra water, extra food, extra clothing, things in addition to what you planned for the day, as well as things like light, a way to make a fire, some way to have shelter, some additional communication, so a satellite device, a radio, something that's going to keep you warm, dry, and safe at least for overnight, but better yet for a couple of days.
A lot of people come out for the weekend and don't necessarily think to be prepared for the changes in weather that we can have up here. So always be prepared for all 4 seasons. You can run into hypothermia even in the summer. A lot of people don't understand that it can be 90 degrees down in the Front Range, and when you come up here you can run into hypothermia even in August. And you end up crashing at 4 or 5 p.m. and you're out here when it turns dark. It gets cold.
Next on our list is some basic repair tools. Even just a few wrenches, some screwdrivers, a socket set, something that can kind of get you back on the trail if something breaks down is a really good start. Make sure you've got a tire repair kit. We often get flat tires. Also have a good tire changing kit. Whatever you need to get your vehicle safely off the ground, change a tire, repair a tire. And recovery. So we end up off the trail, maybe a little bit of a breakdown, basic recovery kit that is going to allow you to attach to another vehicle, safely pull it out. Shovel and a pair of gloves are what I recommend people have in every kit, maybe some traction boards. Something is always better than nothing. And then in Colorado, in particular, we have really high fire danger here. And so you should be thinking about things like where you're driving and where you're parking, so you're not putting your hot vehicle over grasses that might ignite. But if the worst does happen, have a good fire extinguisher in your vehicle, mount it safely in your vehicle where it's easy to access.
Another really easy thing to just throw in your pocket is like an emergency blanket. Also something we use quite often are hot packs. So if you have room in a pack or on your ATV, throw some hot packs in there as well.
Everybody wears a helmet, but do the helmets always fit properly? Let's say you're taking a child out on an ATV or a snowmobile, and you put a helmet on them, and you can go up, not twist it hard to hurt them, but twist it enough, if their head stays straight, and the helmet's turning, the helmet doesn't fit properly. You need to make sure that it fits properly. Make sure your chin strap is strapped. Eye protection. Eye protection is very valuable for anybody at any age. Snowmobiles, ATVs.
There are a lot of maps and apps available for trip planning, trail conditions, and finding out the weather. Just make sure to have your OHV pass and make sure to have an offline map downloaded or readily available, as many trails and locations in Colorado don't have cell phone service. Always remember, when you're out recreating on the trails, be prepared, respect the rights of others, and follow the rules of the trail that you are riding on.